Yo, 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 yo. Let's blow stuff up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
I want that hype.
Insane intro graphic says Hershey Music. Well, insane name says Janzen to you, dude.
Insane in the membrane. What's up, Jake?
Insane in the brain.
Hershey Music, shout out.
Folks, it's the Producer Lounge, TPL. Welcome back, guys. It's 2:16.
Is that where we're at? Sounds right.
Yes. Folks, it's 2:16. It is a good number.
Special number. It only happens once.
Some numerology in there that makes it special.
All right,
That's right. And
number 9.
to tell us about it is our guest, Azrec.
Azrec.
And folks, special announcement. I do believe he is the first viewer turned guest of the pod.
Yeah.
So let this be a lesson to y'all.
There's got to be other people that watch before they came on.
That is not a true statement, I don't think.
I'm going to say it is.
Okay.
All right,
I'm going to say it is, dude. It's true for me.
That's fair. You can
Don't shit on my truth. Don't shit on my truth.
Let him preach his truth, Dave.
Sorry for shitting on your truth, my dude.
Folks, welcome back. Love to see you in the chat, Hershey. Azrec, how are we?
chilling, dude.
Yeah?
Fucking
You should pull that.
full of tacos.
Pull that
mic,
microphone right up against your face.
Yeah, basically just eat it. Suck on the mic the whole
basically
time.
just keep it real nice and close.
A podcast virgin. I don't know the rules yet.
That's okay, buddy.
We're
That's
getting
okay.
there.
We all were
Fucking,
at one point.
What was I saying, though? Tacos.
Tacos. You're full of tacos.
Tacos were sick.
Good.
I just got my fucking album done, which was just like... For months, dude, I was just mixing down the final, 4 songs. And it's just such a tedious process. And, I can't even really listen to them and, be proud of them at this point because, I've just heard them so many times.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's just, you start to hate them after a while, and, and it's I know they're not bad. I do like them, and I'll come back around and be like, damn, this is sick in the future. But, yeah, that just fucking took a lot out of me. So I've just been kind of chilling, dude.
When did that release?
The 8th of June,
8th
so
of June?
a week or so ago.
Sick.
And people have
Blunderbuss.
really liked it. Fucking, it's called
Nice.
Blunderbuss. Y'all want to know why it's called Blunderbuss?
Yes,
I do.
please.
Sick. All right,
Give us the lore.
Super nerdy. So, I'm going to drop the fucking sauce on you right now. So, I do this thing in Ableton where I'll, you guys probably know, well, you don't use Ableton, but you can definitely do this in Bitwig too, but I take a
He does watch
sampler.
the pod. Damn.
It's very educated of you.
I take a sampler and do a multi-sample thing basically. In the Ableton sampler, you can put 128 samples in, and you could switch between them using the note that you press, or the velocity, or a little sample selector knob. So I'll put 128 fucking mud pie bass sounds in one of those, and macro the sample start point and the actual sample. So
Okay,
then I'll just
yeah.
basically that spawned the idea because I called it the Blunderbuss device.
Love this.
Nice.
So it's you just throw a
Amazing.
bunch of shit in,
Hell
dude.
yeah.
Sometimes I'll just put non-bass sounds in there to just fuck with myself, some vocals,
Yeah, or a
Totally.
snare. Just
just a granulated snare,
yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Fart noises and shit, just to make myself laugh. But it's spun from the idea of putting, anything, just a bunch of shit in here and letting it spit it back out. And that's actually the technique I use, not exclusively, but I use that in every single fucking song on the album.
Right.
Okay,
That's a
damn.
fun ass move.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Wait, so in
Blunderbuss. I love the name too.
you said you're
It's
using
so
the
effective.
sampler.
Yeah.
How do you get multiple? Yeah, I think we were kind of talking about this the other day.
In Sampler, the very far left tab is called Zone.
I can't picture it. I barely use sampler.
Yeah, dude, it might be one of those things that you just kind of overlooked and became
Maybe.
invisible. Because
Yeah.
there are functions on VSTs that at one point
Sure.
my brain was just it's not worth processing this data.
Yeah,
And
right.
fucking I don't see them there.
It's just a
But
blind spot. Yeah.
all the way on the left of the Ableton sampler, not Simpler, Sampler. There's a tab called Zone, and it has a little arrow pointing down, and when you click that, it opens up a spot to put the samples.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
It's just such a quick way to fucking get ideas out too. Like that's how I start all my tracks now. Is I'll just kind of like I'll have an init patch with just like a saw wave, and I'll just kind of play around till I find like a riff and a cadence and like an idea basically that I want, and then I'll take that MIDI into the fucking Blunderbuss and just automate to high hell. I'll
That sounds like-
record. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say it sounds like so much fun. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that tonight.
Do it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a
Do you have them all like key synced?
Yes,
all the-
yeah. So I will go
It just
through
sounds like,
and like
way more work than I want.
But once you get it set up, dude, once you get it set up, and they don't have to be key synced. If you want it to be like really
Sure,
outrageous
obviously, yeah.
or get like accident melodies and shit,
I
you don't have to
not
key
want
sync
it
them.
to be key synced.
Yeah. I was
You
gonna
could-
say I'd rather.
I definitely
I'd
would
rather
want it
not
to
be
sync
key-synced.
Yeah.
up.
I use a lot of my own mud pies too, and I always write in fucking E.
I was
At least
gonna
for the
say,
past,
you
like,
could-
year or
Attaboy.
two. Yeah,
you could
dude.
just
E-game.
prep.
He's where it's at.
Yeah.
Damn.
You could just prep and like, oh, like you want to build the Blunderbuss in 3 or 4 months. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm just gonna make a shitload of mud
Make
pies,
them out,
128
dude.
mud pies.
and they're
Right.
always gonna be an F sharp or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, just
You don't have to use 128.
Just
You can
pick a
use
note.
3. You can use
sure,
2.
sure,
You know?
yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Just make an amount, and then
Or you can use 128.
then you can continue to update it, but you just know every time you make a mud pie doesn't really like just make it an F. Who cares?
Yep.
Or not like if you don't want to key
What you
synced and
could
you want it
do
to like
is-
do some weird accidental shit, which is very jazz.
You can make like 5 mud pies that are all like the pentatonic scale and fucking throw all
Right.
5 in there and then like randomly swap between those
Right.
and see kind of what like melodies come out.
Yeah, you could do the same thing with like a bunch of melodic mud pies
It's a
that are
really
all
good idea,
like
dude. You make chords,
right,
just like
and
3 different full like pad patches
harp-
that are all different.
arpeggios
This
and all
is
that
why
kind
I
of shit.
don't want to do it because my brain instantly starts fractaling out every little area of the thing, and I'm like, I just could make a song though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's an amazing and
gives a
fun
specific
idea
sound.
that I wish that I had the energy to do. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not shitting on it.
yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Even if you were, I like it.
No,
Yeah.
it's sick as fuck. I would like to have it, but I use Bitwig, so
That's fair. I think I could send it
We
to
can
you
make
if you
that.
want to, because Bitwig has a function right where when
Right.
you drag
Oh, that's
Ableton racks in, it
true.
recreates them as closely as possible.
Oh, send him the
Yeah.
Blunderbuss.
I would love
Yeah,
that.
dude, I
I
will.
would
I
love
will.
that.
And
Gladly.
then you get 128 free mud pies, which is pretty sweet.
that's a.
I'll send you
fucking-
the mud pies
dude,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pack. Jay,
was,
Jay Lang said you shouldn't ever share your mud pies.
Oh, that's true.
That is true.
He did.
He said
Oh,
those
they-
are like sacred. The mud pies.
And he was,
And then
if I
we
remember
instantly
correctly,
convinced him that that wasn't the case.
No, we convinced him to have him share one of his mud pies for our Patreon. He was like, for that, I'll do it.
which never came.
Or maybe we did. Oh,
True.
I know.
It's true.
Damn, calling us out.
It's true.
We gotta.
I was
gotta-
like the
We'll have to
first
hit him up.
Patreon subscriber
True.
too. Yeah.
Were you? Let's go.
I love what y'all do, dude. This is so sick.
You
There
got
are
the
really
dollar
not
tier. Hell yeah.
like there are not many other podcasts that are just about like nerdy music production
Right.
stuff, and so
Right.
many of the guests that you guys have are like people who I want to hear talk about their shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so like, yeah, it's perfect. I love this.
Dude, that's why we made it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
awesome,
exactly
dude.
why we made it.
Like,
We were
great
like,
job.
nobody's
It's
doing
criminal
it.
how like few people, not to like
Yeah.
drag on it, but like it's criminal, dude. If more people like knew about this, I feel like you guys would have like easily 10K.
Sure.
Let's go.
It
One
is.
day.
It is like weirdly niche, but it is
Shout
also
out.
Yeah.
like it's hard to advertise because a lot of the people that do want to watch this don't search that way.
Right.
Like,
And if the people who are going on, like I found out about it when Kyoto came on and he
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
posted about it, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna watch that. That'll
like
be
it
sick.
works better word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean that too, but like you can make
Yeah.
clips.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
We're pretty big believers in what we call the slow burn method,
I feel that. Me too, dude.
which is just
Me too.
like we just make shit,
Yeah.
we put it out, or we don't put
Focus
it out.
on it being quality,
And,
you know.
Yeah. Just as
we
long as
just
it's good.
we're enjoying the ride, and
Good.
honestly, like if you blow the fuck up, actually, it could be kind of hard to like
manage.
dial your life around that. So it's like
That's fair.
we grow slow.
Yeah.
Then our
Blowing
then
up
our
doesn't
growth
instantly
is like,
equal like being able to quit your job because you have so much money. You know, like that
Exactly.
still takes time.
True.
You have to monetize
Yeah.
things in different ways.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
If
So
you
yeah, we're
guys-
trying to avoid doing that.
If
which
you
we're doing a
guys
great
like,
job of.
Yeah. True.
if you blew up overnight, you just like suddenly you just now have like 500,000 followers
Oh God,
by the grace
that
of
would
God.
scare me. I'd be like, guys, I
Bro.
can't do the podcast anymore.
This podcast
too much
would be-
attention.
This
I can't
podcast would
talk.
be so professional. Immediately. It would be just like, all right, we're gonna upgrade some things. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Oh, dude.
We spend every single bit and more of our earned money and our own money
Goes
on
right back
the
into the
podcast.
podcast. Yeah.
Like,
Right,
we don't take any money from any of the things that we do.
Yeah.
It's all trying to like,
Just all
can
goes
we
back
get a
in.
better camera? Can we fucking figure out how to?
You could see that too. I mean, you like, built
that's
out this
all we
whole
care.
room.
Yeah.
Right.
You got octopi in your.
We got octopi. We got multiple octopi.
Freshwater octopi.
It would be fun to hit up like Black Box or something and be like, can we rent it a Tuesday one night?
That'd be
and
sick,
do the podcast
dude.
like in the middle of the Black Box main room.
Yeah.
That'd be
Or on the
sick.
stage or something.
That'd be fun.
They have shows almost every night. I feel like it would be pretty expensive to rent it out.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
if
and they
you-
do the Electronic Tuesday thing. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It's tough.
Maybe we just
But no,
rent
like
it out
maybe
for an
like during
hour.
the day. Yeah, an hour during the day when there's not a show happening.
Yeah.
I feel like why wouldn't they take the money to let you do
yeah,
that? You
right.
know?
Or even funnier if it was on an Electronic Tuesday, like 2 DJs play, and then we do the podcast live on the stage just for an
Yo.
hour.
It would
No,
just be
you
a
just be
live
like
set.
commentators,
It would
dude.
be the live
just be
podcast
like,
live.
just be
Yeah.
narrating
Right.
the set. Oh, and then
No,
it
what we
looks
should
like
be-
he's winding
Oh,
up.
I like that.
Oh, even that would be fun.
We should
And
be
a wheel back. Can you believe it? Just like sports announcers, dude.
right.
You're speaking our language now.
That'd be
Right.
sick.
You
I'll be a
take-
guest on that too.
Let's
if you
check
do
out
it.
that
That'd be
idea.
fucking sick.
We'll get you.
But you know the spot that's above the bar in the main room? That's where we sit with our backs,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then we
the
have the
camera
camera
shows
face.
us, and we're sitting there constantly like, oh
Fucking
yeah.
just
And as you can
drone
see, the crowd
camera
is turning out
swoops in.
tonight. Right, exactly. Of the big swooping cameras, and yeah.
I love this so much.
And we're just trying to. We're like we have some mics and they're super close, like we're talking on a helicopter because it's so loud in the room. So we're just. It's a shit show.
Yeah.
But it'd be great.
People would love it if we had money.
that would be like, funny. Like,
We would have a good time with
Low
that
key,
money.
we would do good by that money.
Yeah.
I swear to God. I swear to God,
100 octopi.
dude.
Yeah.
They're important.
We
Like, we
fish
would
tank
have-
the size of the
Have to
whole wall.
build a room out. Yeah.
Like, we have an idea to have a green screen, and then have another person who can get up and then be in front of the green screen. That's a different camera, so we can be like, all right, we're gonna go to blah blah in the field, and it's like whoever, and they're looking at Ableton, and they're like, yeah, so here
It's just
you can
copycat
see
for a sec.
right, you're like here
It's like, oh,
next to
blah,
the
blah.
sampler, you can see how you can choose which sample set you want. All right, thank you. All right, now back. We're gonna go back
to you,
to studio.
Michelle.
Yeah, we just do shit like that. Like it'd be great, but we need
Do
lots
a
of
monologue
cameras.
that way. That'd be
Right.
pretty fun.
Right.
Have all the friends write us production jokes.
Dude,
Low key.
let me know.
The crash,
my niche,
the
dude.
Ableton crashing. How about that, guys? Blah 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 joke.
So something
know.
I was doing today when I was making my rhythm song was similar to
Oh,
kind
you're
of just
making
the.
your rhythm song today?
I've made a rhythm song. Yeah, first time in like 4 years. It was fun.
I don't believe that.
I heard it. It
go.
actually
No.
is pretty
I guess
fucking
that,
sick.
that isn't true. We made a rhythm song together the other month. Kinda. Yeah, kinda.
Kind of. We started one.
We started it.
Dude, you should make like squelchy rhythm.
I know that would be fun, right?
Yeah.
Rhythm, but
Doing like
wah.
65 BPM, dude. 65 BPM. Just, yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
If you want to fucking work on a track,
I'm down. Let's do it.
Hey.
Let's do it.
yeah.
Y'all
What
heard it
happened?
first?
What's up?
What happened in your dubstep
Yeah.
track?
So one of the things I was doing is similar to your like mud pie concept, where I got 128 Foley samples and threw them all into a drum rack,
Ooh, good.
and then put an ARP on the drum rack and set it to random once, so everything just triggers once, or random other is nice, just so you don't get the same note twice in a row.
Right, exactly.
And I just recorded that out for like 16 bars or 32 bars or something. And you have just, it sounds fucking chaotic at first because it's just various percussion, like, but if you throw like an auto pan on it and set it to like 16th note, so it kind of just tightens up all the sounds, or 8th note, whatever your rhythm is.
Shaperbox.
Shaperbox. Yeah.
Shaperbox all day.
That's what I did.
What you're talking about, I'm using a Shaperbox every time on that.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I've been
I'll
doing
reach
some
for
crazy shit with Shaperbox.
In the Shaperbox.
Yeah.
And then you just flatten it out, whatever that is. And it's perfect because if you just take like 1 bar or 2 bars and just loop that, that's like enough percussion where it like sounds like a phrase and it
evolving.
Loops. Yeah. And it all sounds like kind of in a family.
That's
You can
sick.
process it and EQ it to like kind of, sound like it's in a little, it's like coherent, But it was a lot of fun. I was having a
No,
blast.
that's a great idea, dude.
Yeah. And then if you have 32 bars of it, you just have like infinite little like loop possibilities. You're like, oh, I like this section. And maybe the B section, you just shift everything a little to the right. Or like in the little clip itself, you shift the waveforms over so you get entirely new tones. And you just have percussion for days.
That'd be
It's the
cool to
best.
do with bass sounds too.
Yeah.
That would be.
That's what I used to do a lot.
That'd be sick.
Just cycle through a bunch of shit.
Yeah, exactly that, and have like a bunch and just sit there
Record
and
it.
move it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just
I was
have
doing
it in
that
one
recently,
audio
actually.
sample.
Yeah.
Let's go. How would you... Okay, so if you wanted it to do that, but you also wanted the bass notes to change pitch, how would you set that up?
I would probably, like, if I, like, once I have the sample all rendered out, I would honestly just do it manually.
Just manual?
Yeah,
Okay,
just
that's
go
fair.
into the clip.
That's fair. I was trying to imagine maybe like it generates little riffs for you in a way, but
You could,
mean,
Well, you
manual...
but it'd be a step
Of
back.
a sampler, if you can figure out how to randomize the start point.
Wait, are you talking about, like, the
If it was like a
Blunderbuss
mud
thing
pie.
again? Or...
I guess I'm just back on that now. Yeah.
Yeah, we are
It's
kind of
basically what it
describing
is.
the Blunderbuss
Yeah.
now, if we're talking about that.
Yeah.
No, like, is that really what you were talking about? Or I might have
He
got
was
lost.
saying.
Or were you
no,
talking about doing that technique you did with the Foley
Yeah.
with bass sounds?
I was talking about just, with the percussion. And then, if we did add bass sounds to it, it is
Yeah.
basically just the blunderbuss
So
now.
if you wanted it, but if you wanted it to generate a riff, you just throw in like a bunch of different key bass samples.
Okay, that's
You know?
enough. Yeah.
So like you can even, like I was saying before, like just look at the pentatonic scale and be like, all right, what are these 5 notes, and like have your thing
your-
filled, your drum rack
Right.
filled with bass samples that
That
are
fit all
in
of
one of
those.
those
Yeah.
notes. Yeah.
A couple times over. So they'll just randomly choose them and you'll get a little
exactly.
Right.
melody out of it.
Dude,
I love generative
Shaperbox,
stuff.
Same, dude.
It's so much fun.
I have so many samples of just kind of like cycling through a bunch of crazy sounds. Like, they're really fun to
Yeah.
like chop up. Like, I feel like I use mud pies in one of 2 ways. Like, I either make this kind of long, slowly evolving bass sound that kind of like changes tone and texture, but like over the course of like 16 bars or some shit.
Right.
And then I'll make like really glitchy, choppy stuff where like riffs are basically or just fills or like little like moments
Right,
are
exactly.
just kind of like naturally occurring in them.
This one also works.
But yeah, Shaperbox, I've been doing some pretty crazy shit with lately too.
You can get wild
talk
in
to
there,
me.
And
right?
just generally with like using sidechaining for different things than ducking. So like I use Shaperbox for sidechaining, but then I'll also like throw one on like a melody channel or a bass channel or a vocal channel. Sometimes even just the sub, and fucking have the snare or kick trigger like certain effects to happen. So every time like the kick hits, it like distorts the shit out of the bass sound.
Yes.
Or like it like
Dude.
throws the phaser like all over the place, or like you get a noise splash.
Ooh, I love
Or
that.
if you have like when the snare hits, dude, like baked into like your bass sample or like your whole, melodic sounds group, have it trigger like a reverb splash.
Let's
so
fucking
then
go.
it basically takes the reverb splash that would be happening on the snare and like bakes it into one of your samples. And just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it kind of gives this like feeling of like realism. or
Yeah.
like you're like it puts them more in like a physical space together where like one is impacting the other.
Does Shaperbox have an audio rate option?
Ooh, if it does.
For
I
like
don't know.
modulation speed?
Yeah, because if it
feel-
does,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think John talked about that once.
does?
It does.
Right?
Does it
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Can you make
I
it
just
track?
as you
Can
were talking to me, my mind went like, "Wait a second."
Wait, can you make it track
Oh.
the audio that's coming in?
What's up, CD Projekt?
CD Projekt. What's up, buddy?
yeah.
We can talk about that in a sec.
I would think that would be what it's based on. I don't know.
Oh, you need to see how to do this. Are you pulling it up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Holy
yeah, we're pulling
shit.
it up. CD Projekt with the.
Bricked up, dude.
Fucking bricked up. Bricked up in the dude.
Can you guys talk about sidechaining with ring mod? Well, this is basically that.
Who the fuck said that?
CD Projekt.
Oh, what's good, dude?
Yeah, great question. I love
You want to
that.
talk about the geopolitical implications
guest.
of
Yeah,
ring
guest.
mod side chaining?
Oh yeah, you posted that. That's amazing.
I'm glad that you found that funny, dude.
Oh, so
Yeah,
he
dude.
was referencing your story. I see.
yeah, yeah, dude. This is
Amazing.
deep lore. Like you got to be involved in the shit.
Fucking banger story
Damn.
post.
All right.
I made it with a picture of
Shaperbox.
myself when I was like an altar boy too. I'm just like this
that
chunky little,
picture's
just like
great.
never fucking broke the rules.
Oh, I read the post.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So-
I'm remembering it now. Okay, yeah.
Been
a
if
long
you
day.
go to your speed here,
Yes.
you can go to pitch.
Pitch. Beautiful. And I wonder if it bases
And then-
it.
Oh, so you could almost.
I wonder if you need MIDI coming in,
So
or
let's
do you
see.
base it on the audio coming in?
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to hear it, ladies and gentlemen. But
Oh yeah, god damn it.
you could almost do the
the audio not
remod
working?
sidechaining cut. Yeah, it's a whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's a whole thing for some reason. It makes no sense. I still have yet to figure it out, and I always forget until we're live.
right.
Unfortunately.
Damn. Well,
You
we
could
can
basically
see that it's
we need
possible.
another computer is what we need.
I really do want to know though, like
But
if
it
you
is
can
based
make it.
on the pitch of the synth
Whatever
right now.
the incoming signal
Can you
is
make
currently.
it based off the pitch of
Yes,
the
you
side
could
chain?
you could probably send it. If we send it audio, then it might give us the option. I can't remember, but I think I've done it before.
I'm
Okay.
gonna try.
A couple
dude.
times.
I want to try
That's
this
crazy.
also. This is so
That-
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That's
So, like, you-
That's
revolutionary.
basically
If
like
true.
Mingrod.
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 That's like some Mingrod shaping, which is weird.
Mingrod.
I like
Different.
Mingrod
Yeah,
shaping.
exactly,
Took me a
exactly.
second.
Or
A
the
different kind of a
side
thing.
chaining. If you have the phase, okay, so you know how we make like the fuck you basses with the remod?
Mm-hmm.
So you could do that, but literally just with the phase in there, and you could fine tune it to be like
Right.
as long or as short as you want. This is sick.
Right.
What
Which you,
else
yeah.
crazy could you do? Would you side
It
chain
basically
with it?
turns
You could.
your DAW into like fucking
Modular.
Phaseplant almost, right? Like you can actually FM anything
Yeah,
from
yeah.
anything.
from anything, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's you have. I mean,
Hell yeah.
the nice thing is that
You a
everything
big
is.
Phaseplant user?
I like it. Yeah, I've honestly no, like you
Choose
can
your
ask the
next words
homies, dude.
wisely.
No, Phaseplant is like it was my go-to for so long until Serum 2 came out, and I don't say that because I think one is better than the other.
Caleb, get us on the
I've
other
just
screen.
like got really
thank you.
stoked on Serum 2, and you
Yeah.
can do a lot of, if not all of the things in Serum 2 that you can do in Phaseplant.
Totally.
And it's just a little
I'm kidding.
You can.
functionally
You
for all of
definitely
the
can.
all of
You
the
could do
crazy
more
features
things.
of Phaseplant that I use are available in Serum 2. And it's just a little like easier almost.
I disagree
Like,
with that, but
I love
I
Phaseplant
understand.
for like exploratory sound design and stuff, but like using for a patch sometimes I'll just like get carried away and like not make a song and just be tweaking a patch for 2 hours instead.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem.
It is. But you know, you got to know
Yeah.
your boundaries and limitations,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, that's fair.
But I love Phaseplant.
good.
I don't
It's good to
like.
put yourself in a
I
box.
use Phaseplant like constantly still.
Yeah.
I try to use Serum 2 right now just to give myself an opportunity to make a different sound because I'm just going to use it a little bit differently.
Yeah,
Because of the layout and whatnot.
exactly.
But
yeah.
what I find is I'm like, I'll make a better sound in Phaseplant.
I think
And then I'll open up the Phaseplant and instantly make a better sound.
I think it was like Duff Free or someone was on here talking about that, and like the wavetables do just inherently sound different in Serum versus Phaseplant.
Sure.
Like Phaseplant is a little more like warm or like human feeling, like their default wavetables, and Serum is definitely a little more like metallic-y.
Right.
Which is why
It's
the
subtle.
rhythm
I mean,
boys
nobody
love it.
listening to the music is ever going to notice that, but you know, it's like whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, you can use them
My
both
big-
for different things.
Right.
Like, take advantage of that.
My biggest thing is I can do everything on Phaseplant on one screen. Like I'm never
Okay.
having to change. I never have to go to a different tab.
Unless you
actually
open
like
like a
the tab
snap
thing.
heater,
Like
snap heap.
yeah, like the most I have to do is right click a thing and enter a number, and but like everything is within reach or a scroll, which is. I fucking hate being like, oh, I need this tab. Oh, it's the wrong tab. Oh, wrong tab. Wrong tab.
I
That
do
one.
dislike the
Like,
tabbiness.
it drives me fucking nuts.
feel
Serum
that.
for sure.
I
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
I don't like the
I
Matrix.
like that.
I also
like
don't
the
like
Matrix
that.
can be
I also
weird.
don't
Which-
like that. Just give me a hover option. Just let me
Yeah.
like right click a thing and it brings a box that lets me change the curve and the
Yeah.
amount of the thing. Like, why is that so hard? We're used to Windows. It's been around
Dude.
since fucking 93. Come on.
I know you guys probably don't care about this, but I do want to know if Bitwig has like an equivalent. But I just realized, like in Ableton, for so long I was like, man, I wish Ableton had a device that was essentially like Remap, so you can like remap the modulation curves of different things. And one day I was just using fucking Shaper for like something completely different. I was like, what is manual mode? And manual mode turned Shaper into Remap, basically.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like the Shaper modulation device?
In Phaseplant?
No, in Ableton.
What is it called? Oh, Shaper.
It's just called Shaper. It's like an LFO, but you
It's
can
a
like
shape
draw
of-
the
Oh,
LFO.
yeah. It's got the
I remember
Yeah.
Shaper.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that has a
yeah.
manual mode.
That is just a
shit. Manual
There's manual mode.
Yes. Yeah,
Can we-
so you can use a knob to scroll through whatever shape you have drawn.
Amazing. That makes so much sense.
So you can draw whatever shape.
I would pull up
Dank
curve
Sauce just made a
or-
device that's like this on steroids, dude.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think he calls it multi-shaper.
Okay.
And it
Holy
has
fuck.
8 different shapers in it, basically, and they're just like tabs, like stacked on top of each other. And then you can go through and make like 8 different shapes, or you can hit a button that randomizes them all. Let's go. Yeah, so you can map like 8 different things to the shaper, have it on fucking manual mode, and just kind of like anytime you want to just like fuck something up, just turn that knob and it'll do something like different.
So
You
cool.
know?
Okay. Dude, the power of just steps is on anything is elite.
If you're trying to go in like certain specific
fair.
pitches, or like
Interesting.
you have like an FM bass and you're trying to like only nail like frequencies on the modulator that, you know, sound good. Yeah.
Dude, I have so much stuff
Yeah, I
to play
usually
with
just
now. Holy
manually do that
Good.
shit.
Good.
shit. Yeah, I know,
This is why I
right?
love talking about this shit,
I
dude. 'Cause,
know,
like,
yeah.
so much of it just feels like, oh, dude, like that's old news. Like I've done that or known that or whatever forever. And then like I talked to somebody about it and they're like, holy shit. Not like I'm some kind of fucking prophet or some shit, but it's just like,
Yeah.
it feels so mundane to me.
Right,
Like a
because
lot
you're
of
so
like
used
the
to it,
techniques
yeah.
and shit that I use. And then like I remember that like everybody has a different path. You know, some people focus really hard or like gain a lot of knowledge in like one area, some
Oh, yeah.
people in another.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some people are really good at like mixing, some people are really good at songwriting, some people are really
wish I
good
was
at making
either.
pointless devices that you use like once a year.
I'm not even good at
Me.
that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll take those
I like-
useful devices.
I like you. I like the use of the
Dude,
world.
that's kind of so. I own Bitwig. I bought it when it
Oh.
was like 50% off because it was
Yeah.
like $200 for the full
Fucking right.
license.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
sweet.
I was like, I've wanted to play with it for a while, and it seems really sick. And it is extremely sick. For like 2 months, probably, I didn't even use Ableton.
Wow.
I was just
okay.
writing in Bitwig.
Cool.
And ultimately, I just really like the learning curve was taking too long, and I went back to Ableton because it was just like, I can finish a song in this. With Bitwig, part of the reason why like I couldn't keep using it really when I wanted to just finish music was that I would spend so much time just fucking around in the grid, just building crazy devices.
I'm being way too creative.
Yeah,
here.
dude. No,
I need to
it's
get
just
some
like
shit done.
I was making like impractical sounds.
Sure.
Too, you know, like I was making really cool shit, but I'm
Yeah.
like, unless I want to be like Little Snake, there's no way I'm putting this in a fucking song. You know.
Yeah.
And like not all of it. Like I definitely ripped some bounces and keep them in my Ableton library. But yeah, ultimately it was just like I want to go back to it. I truly do. The only reservation I have is like the learning curve, of course, and the modulation, dude. The modulation is just feels so like draggy and like bogged down, kind of. Like when you're
Really?
dragging like a modulation point from one spot to another.
Interesting.
I don't know. It just feels like
I don't
really
feel that way at
slow.
all.
You've also been in it for
Feels-
3
yeah.
years.
feels very
So I have
smooth
to. I
to
haven't
me.
used it in like probably
yeah.
a year. And there've been a lot of updates since then.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
saw
no, keep
people
shitting
like,
out Bitwig. Let's go.
They also changed the all of the graphical interface is actually happening on the graphics card now.
okay,
So things got a lot smoother after that.
word.
nice.
Yeah, that might have been it.
But
Right.
yeah, no, I don't know. The modulation for me out of the gate, I was just like, this is the best thing ever. I want to use this
all the time.
on
Oh,
everything.
the modulators that are built into each track are
Yeah.
fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
brilliant. I love it. There's so much I love about it.
It's fucking insane. Yeah, I feel like there's a remap kind of a
I feel like there is
vibe.
too. I just don't.
Like when you're talking about Shaper, there's definitely a drawable LFO.
Can you scroll
option.
through it with a knob?
There
Like,
is a wavetable option. Like a wavetable LFO
oh
option
shit, that's
as
sick.
well, which
Yeah.
is kind of that, I guess.
Danksauce also has a Max for Live that does that.
Oh yeah, I bet. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's badass. Yeah.
Pink sauce is on a crazy level.
Man, and then it just crashes your computer.
I think it's Danksauce. Yo, you got me there, dude. That shit is infuriating. That's like part of the reason when I switched to Bitwig for those few months, like I was pissed at Ableton, dude. Like super pissed. I think it was like right when 12 came out, or maybe when they announced 12 and what the
Okay.
features would be. And I've been in the beta group for like 3 years now, and I've like made comments about, you know, like very simple things, like why can't we just bounce a single fucking clip to audio, like,
Yeah.
and now you can. But when they first announced
It took a
12,
long
that
time.
wasn't, like it came as like an update. And I just felt like they don't give a shit what people want.
They kind of
And then
don't.
they,
right?
and then they make these, like, not to talk shit on Ableton, but I'm going to talk shit on Ableton.
Sorry, Ableton.
but
We love you,
fucking-
but you got to listen to your fucking fan base.
Like, they do shit. Yeah, exactly. Like, they give you, like, some flashy bullshit that you'll never use.
Yeah.
And then, meanwhile, very simple functions that are, like, standard in every other DAW, like bounce in place, slice in place. Even just, like, as far as how the macros work, like, they just don't seem to give a shit. And, like, I understand because they've never rewritten the code, right? So they're essentially
Yeah.
just piling on the same code from, like, Ableton 1. And it becomes like this rat's nest of code, and you can't really, like, you can't do certain things without breaking other things.
yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, I think that's
So, like,
more
I
of it.
understand why, but it still
Yeah.
is just like,
It's
that's
not
why
that-
I was, like, sick of Ableton
Yeah.
at that point. But this 12.2 update, dude, whew, it did almost everything that I want.
They hit some
Let's
shit
go.
on there, huh?
Let's go.
Yeah, it's really good, dude. It's really good. They
Okay.
finally, like, I mean, they finally
I've
did
been
the bounce in
enjoying the
place
updates that
thing,
I've been
so you can
seeing.
just control B and bounce like a single clip to audio really quick, which is huge.
Hotkey?
Yeah, control B.
Sick. I did
Which
not
is
know
huge
that.
for me, dude. That was like such a big part of why I liked Bitwig so much off the bat, because like my workflow is so good when I can like take a fucking patch, make a few sounds with it, just bounce that out, go back to it, change some things, make a few different sounds, bounce that out, go back, change it, and just kind of get like all of these iterations of like a riff or a motif or an idea. And then with Ableton's take lanes, I'll
Right.
just throw them all in the take
Comping.
lanes and exactly. And just comp different fucking patches together.
Yeah. I could never find the workflow for comping. And I used to do vocals and I would use it for vocals, but like still just like the workflow. I could not like figure out like how do I what do I listen to first? I mean, you just fuck around, obviously.
Yeah, I just chop in a bit, see if I like it. Chop in a different bit, see if I like it.
Yeah, totally. I'm always like trying to find a method of finding the flow of a kind of a thing like that. Like something like comping, you're like, how do I maximize the way I'm doing this to achieve the most dopeness more regularly?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just find myself like, if I try to just write like a whole song in MIDI from a patch throughout basically the whole thing, I will spend way too much time going back to that patch and trying to make it perfect and like often like losing the essence of the idea that made it cool in the first place.
Totally.
So like if I get an idea that I like, I just want it in audio real quick. I can shove it down in the take lane and then, you know, chop it together later with something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just works works great, dude.
Big fan of that.
So what do you usually do? Do you just like write in MIDI usually the whole time, like throughout the whole song, or do you use many samples, or what's your process?
I will make some drums. I'll then like think about what kind of vibe I'm looking for, and then I'll start trying to make. I usually am like interested in something. Like I have kind of a specific
idea.
bass sound that I want to make.
Okay.
Or I have I want to fuck with a melodic thing in this certain kind of way. You know, but it's all fucking mud pies all the way down to some extent.
Oh, nice. Word.
I'm always, I mean, sometimes the mud pie, quote unquote, is I make a patch and then I duplicate it and I make another patch and I duplicate it and I make another patch over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's likely that into resampling one of those that was really cool and then resampling some version of that, or duplicating multiple times and then resampling, you know, and then I just eventually you're like, okay, I have a bunch of weird sounds in here. Yeah. Now I'll make a song.
So pretty similar workflow.
Yeah.
Just
you start
mining
from drum
for the sounds.
farming sounds.
Yeah, farming, just
Farm the
farming.
sounds.
Yeah.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah, and
gotta harvest them.
And don't give up. The sounds must be good.
Right.
They must be
Keep digging.
Really high quality. Yeah,
Keep digging. There's gold in them hills, guys. There's gold in them hills.
There's a fucking sexy ass bitch right there when you make the first cool sound to just be like, just commit to me. And you're like,
Right. No.
But I could find an even sexier sound.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, I did that
Right
today. I was working on a liquid track, and it happened in like a twofold way, where I was on Splice just because that's like where I do my digging, I guess, when I'm looking for like just a random sound, like whether it's a melodic stack from like a hip hop fucking thing, or it's just a one-shot chord from like a Rhodes or whatever.
Children screaming.
Yeah, context always, guys. But I was working on this track and I found I don't even know what it was. It was like a pad or something, but it sounded like some whales, basically. Like,
Let's go. Yeah.
I was just like, that's kind of fucking interesting. Let's just snag it. And I snagged like 15 other ones, and that's the only one that made it through like the cut of like what's cool with the drums.
Right.
And then it was like, it's still not good enough. And so that's where it goes into phase 2, where it's like, it's got some kind of spark, but it's not quite there. And now I'm like resampling and throwing it into a sampler and looping it weird and stretching it and trying to like just completely just run it through the ringer of everything I know how to do.
Something here?
Yeah, like where is the gold in this? I can see it shiny, but I don't know where it is, so I have to put it through a bunch of filters and try and get it, to something. And I did. And it only took me stretching it by 50%. I literally tried everything in the book, and then I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even try pitching it down and slowing it down.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know.
It's the first
I
thing
know.
I do.
I felt bad. I
Ivy
felt
Lab
bad
would be
for
upset
sure.
with you.
I know. I felt bad.
50% though. I usually go an octave, which 50%
Well, it's
that is an octave.
it's actually it's technically 200%.
Right.
Because I'm stretching it
Never
down.
mind. I was
double.
thinking you were
Yeah,
saying
right.
50% of an
Right,
octave.
right.
Because I do an octave whenever I do.
You get some weird
Right,
microtonal.
talking about an octave.
Right. I am talking about an
okay,
octave.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Literally an octave,
Yeah.
which I do feel bad because like I should have done this right away. But of course, the universe needed me to do the ring around the posy. Like the muse
You
was
had to
like,
take the scenic route.
yeah, the muse was like, you have to work for it.
You'll be all right.
You gotta work for it.
You're going to find it. Just keep on going.
And then I did, and I was like,
Bitch.
actually, this is sauce. And now I have to change my snare a little bit, but that's a good sign. The moment I have to move the snare around in the spectrum to match this new vibe that is leading the energy. That's always
Yeah,
a good.
true.
That's always a good
Is
sign for
is
me.
that something you guys think about a lot?
I do.
Like matching your snare tone to that kind of stuff?
I
You guys
just
should be more aware of
Matching
I'm
that.
it
just
to what?
thinking about it in terms of my ear. I'm just like, oh, the snare, because I make the drums in a vacuum
Oh, I
on
see.
their own. So you
Yeah.
have to be willing to slightly alter them the moment you get the rest of the song there.
You get the rest of the song and you're like, wow, that snare is very bright all
Yeah.
of a sudden.
that, or it's
Or really
aggressive as
long.
fuck. You're like,
or it's a super aggressive.
Yeah, you're
Makes
like,
me think.
like
That's fair.
Like this was gonna kind of be a roller, and now it's a liquid track. So you're like, all right, well, the snare's like, or like,
Yeah.
and it,
Yeah.
it needs to be low key. No.
Also, once you get all the shit in there, it's just like, is it still clean or not?
Right.
If
The
it's
song-
not, it probably needs a change.
Right.
Likely.
Just
Try
what does the
pitching
song
it.
need?
I always go into because I'll put my snares in audio, and then I will repeat my clip.
That's what I do.
You do audio too?
All audio percussion.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So in Bitwig,
Surrounded by savages.
you make a clip.
Don't worry, hon. Don't
You
worry.
do the clip.
do MIDI?
know,
I
and
do
I
mix.
loop it out.
Okay, that's fair.
And now
Me too.
you can go and edit. So then it brings down like in like your MIDI window section, you get your little audio editing area, and then
Bitwig.
it feels a lot like MIDI that way, where you're just like, I make the clip,
Right.
and then I
It's
duplicate it out,
repeated,
and then I have this section of clip, and then I can go and adjust it and do all the things. But I was but as soon as things are starting to mesh nice, just go in there to one of my loops and just repitch, stretch whatever snare I have, and just see if it will it just pop it by just like move it slightly
Right.
lower or
Yeah.
higher pitch.
It is huge.
Right now, it works great.
I'll do the same thing, but in a sampler where it's just like I just have the pitch and I'll just
Yep.
hold shift and just like move
True.
it up,
That pitch
move
knob.
it down. And what's fun is you have if you have a bunch of post processing, like if this is you're flattening the snare, and you have a bunch of EQ moves that are dependent on where all the nodes are in
Right.
the snare. The moment you start pitching it around, it's gonna hit like the cutoff of a
Yeah.
node that you had to duck a certain thing, and now it's like, and it's gonna like hit a weird thing. And you're like, oh, actually, that cuts through the mix real nice, and you just
Argument for not printing it first and then stretching it.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It doesn't always work, but if you hit it right, then it's fun to at least give it a print, like a bounce, and then pitch it back and then bounce, and then you just at least have an alternate version that's like
Sure.
doing this weird thing that you can use as a fill snare that's in the family of the original snare, but it's hitting all your EQs weird and all that kind of shit because you pitched it pre-effects.
I do the same thing with all my drums, like snares, fucking hats, shakers, cymbals, as they do like the Blunderbuss thing for my basses. So I'll throw like 128 samples of everything into a sampler, and I have a whole drum rack filled with like kick, snare, shaker, hat,
Yeah.
fucking literally every essential of
A kit.
drum kit. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they all have 128 of each of those samples. And I have like the selector knob. I have all the selector knobs macroed to the macros for the drum rack. And then I have like in Ableton, there's a randomize button that randomizes all the macros. So I'll just sit there and like hit random and get like a whole different kit.
That's
And
right.
there's
so
infinite
sick.
combinations, dude. Because 128
That's a
times
great
like
move.
10,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you're never
Yeah.
going to get the same thing. But then you could save them in the little preset save thing
Also,
too.
you could be like, this one is bad, so
Yeah.
now I'll just move this one.
Exactly.
knob for
You
a
can always
second
change the, yep.
and find
Right,
it.
right.
Damn, that's a good ass move.
It
The
makes like getting started, like everything I do is basically to make getting an idea down in the DAW as quick as possible
Yeah.
is as easy as possible,
Yeah.
because like
No
that's
resistance.
yeah, exactly, because like when I'm sitting there, if I sit there for like 30 minutes and I can't like get an idea down that makes me want to keep going, I'm like, fuck it, and I open up YouTube, you know. So like I don't want to have to like go look for a kick or a snare when I want to start a beat or anything. I don't want to like go through all my bass samples and see which ones, you know, I want to tediously drag in. Like I just want to have
Right.
these devices that are just like go, dude.
Right.
And I often like, you know, change things. I'll like remake things, just kind of polish things up. But yeah, it's just a good
That's a
place to
fun
start,
move.
you know?
Yeah, 100%. And even like developing the structure of your song more too. That's such an easy way to be like, okay, I want this drop to have these sounds, and then you like
Totally.
randomize for your breakdown or your B sections
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck, like, and then instantly you're like, oh yeah, just new tone, like, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
dude.
spam
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, do it by all means.
Fuck. So do you,
And then I'll have like the pitch macroed to one of the macros too. I have like 6 effects. Or yeah, I think it's 6. Or I have like the pitch, like I think I have a frequency shifter after it, so I can like frequency shift them like up or down for like breakdowns and shit. Just like drop the pitch by 10 or some shit. Just kind of makes it like fade into the back a bit.
let's go. Let's go. Fucking awesome move. Love it. A trick I was playing with, also for that rhythm song, I was bringing up new memories. Have you guys ever done the thing where you just throw a random sound into a sampler and make the loop length of it really, really tiny? Like almost just a
course I did
cycle to
that.
5 cycles or something?
Oh yeah.
I did that today too.
yeah, did you really?
sampling.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, to get it to a pitch and then you turn it into a pad.
Exactly.
I did that exact thing today. Yeah.
Like I was trying to make like a chord
Liquid.
progression, and I was like doing the sound design in Serum, and I was like, "Fuck, this just feels so boring," and like I don't know, it's not like the best tone.
Samples.
And then yeah, you can throw in anything. You can throw in a fart sound.
Yeah.
You can throw in a horse.
Does not
like,
matter.
Yeah, and it always has just like interesting harmonics that are just not normal. Fucking, it's such a good move. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's the fucking. I need to do this on every song, just forever.
Yeah, I think that's how like Ivy Lab and like these artists who have like really crazy textures that when you hear you're like, how the fuck would I even make that with a synth?
I
Like,
know.
just like textures and
you
like
don't.
tones that don't sound like synthesizers. They sound like organic or like yeah. Yeah, that's probably how a lot of them are doing that.
Yeah. Future guest Ivy Lab. Come on the
Future
pod.
guest one day.
Fucking would be pumped Ivy Lab, by the way.
How do you go about
nice.
approaching
Low-key,
just
Ivy
like
Lab? Oh.
textures and ambience and
True.
stuff like that?
Dude, ambience I gotta get better with. Like it's like such an afterthought for me, and most of my songs I like forget to even put any kind of ambience in. But lately, everything I've started in the past like month or so, that's like with the drums. I'll throw in like some kind of ambient Foley sample or just kind of some noise floor of some sort.
Cool.
One of the easiest ways to get over this is to start every song from the legit beginning. So like from the intro.
Yeah,
So
I
you
do that
So
a
you
lot.
have to have ambience immediately. Like it has to.
Oh yeah, okay. Has to breathe a
there
little
has
bit.
to be something happening. You can't just
Yeah.
like. Like there has to be some floor. So
I feel that.
it forces you to make a floor, and if you don't, it's
Interesting.
going to sound weird. And you don't have to continue from there, but just like make a little bit of an
Set the
intro
vibe,
vibe, and then
yeah.
you're like, oh, cool. Now just
That's a really good idea.
you copy these 5 things, and you alternate them through the
Yeah.
whole song, and they are your floor. I mean, that's just how I started to make tunes, but I love ambience. I love just the fucking, the thick woods that is like the 30 decibels and below.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's crazy how much you
fucking
can put in
super
there.
quiet
Murky
shit.
swamp.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And you can just make it really quiet and panned like 30 right, so it's like just this little thing on the side here and there. I love ambience because
I will inevitably, every single time I'm doing my sound design as I start a song, the first thing that will happen that is interesting from the sound design will be ambience. Because I won't like this. I might be trying to make a bass sound, and then I'll be like stretching it, and then I'm like, oh, this is a fucking sick ass. Like, I'll just be like, like some weird little ambient thing, and you're like,
that's
all right,
good.
That's gonna go into the mix. But
That's
like
good.
before any actual good bass sound happens, likely one of those will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harness
Or
those.
like 15.
Harness the ambient. Everything can be ambient. Like the moment you're like, I wonder what happened if I looped this like thing in a sampler and drowned it in reverb. Like the moment the next time you think that, do it. Just it takes like 30 seconds. Just do it real quick, and like you can delete the channel and just keep the thing that you printed.
Everything
and you're like,
can
cool.
be ambient.
Yeah, everything can be ambience, and just make it ambience. And then you have it all in the family of the track. It's all made from parts that are in this track, so it's all going to blend and mesh, and you can push it far away. It's going to work together. Like, it's the best.
For like tonal texture kind of stuff lately, I've just like, I made this rack that just has like 4 parallel chains, and
great.
each one has like different effects on it, but they're like, a lot of them are like delay effects.
Yeah.
And then I have like the audio going into it, and fucking it'll basically, each one is like offset to delay like at it, or like to start delaying at a different time.
Yeah.
And there's like a bunch of other
that's a good
crazy
idea.
effects like ring mod and fucking, or frequency shifter, not ring mod.
Oh, wait, so you're saying
One
like,
of them is just like super heavily distorted and like kind of fuzzy. So basically, like with effects, I'm making like 4 different compatible textures, and then you just throw any audio note into that, and it just spits out like however long, like 10 seconds or whatever of just like tonal texture.
Are we talking about like dry delay, just like a pre-delay kind of a thing, or
kind of?
But they are like the feedback is turned up.
Yes, yeah. The feedback
Okay, so you're still
ultimately
getting
is
actual
like
delay.
yeah.
But then you're giving it a little bit of delay for each sound to kind of, or each effect to take place at a different time.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I have them all tap the delays at different times, like kind of staggered.
Oh, okay, I see.
So
Yeah.
like I'll take a delay
You got a
and just
quarter
turn
note,
it
you
to
got a third, you got the fucking
milliseconds.
whatever.
But yeah, exactly. So I
okay.
have them like,
That's really
you know,
fun.
like the first one will just kind of hit like at the time, like right on time, and then I'll have another one with like before the actual like effects and delay. I have a delay just set to milliseconds, and just like 100%, and I'll just have like 10 milliseconds on it. So like that sound doesn't actually tap that effects chain for 10 milliseconds after the sound. And then the
Okay,
next
gotcha.
one maybe 30, and the
Yes,
last one
yes,
maybe
yes.
like 500 or some crazy shit.
Right.
So there's just this
Very
constant
fun,
like
okay.
looping feedback kind of
Oh, I love
wash sound. Yeah, dude.
God
it's
damn,
cool.
that's like
Delays
the 4th thing
and you
now
could
that I have to go do tonight.
And you can go fucking crazy. Like you can make like each layer have like whatever you want, like different components. But I think about each layer as like different textures that are compatible. So like one will be really like boomy and low end. One will be like fuzzy and high end. One will have like a bunch of crazy
cool.
panning and convolution and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's badass.
That's an amazing move.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. God damn, dude. You've learned a lot, and you said you started in 2018 or 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
He's been years, and you're fucking going
that's a
hard.
That's a good chunk of time though.
That is 6 years. Is a
years?
long
I
time.
honestly
Fuck yeah.
just feel like I'm
and
getting
COVID
to
was a cheat code.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, I worked all through COVID. I wasn't that
Same,
much of a cheat code,
but-
but you couldn't be distracted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't go out, so
Yeah.
like there was no shows.
True,
So there's nothing to spend your money on but plugins.
For what it's worth, I still don't go out.
Don't we all?
Fair, yeah, you're a producer. Yeah, we're all just introverts.
Yeah.
hobbits in our little
Well,
hobbit cave.
What do you know? We got one of our own in the studio today. Look at that, everybody.
That brings us on to the Pod Talks portion of the show.
Pod Talks.
Prod Talks.
Crawdad Sniper Talks. Shout out Crawdad Sniper. Come on the pod, bro.
It's gonna be hilarious one day when since you're just giving out your email to everyone.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get a bunch of random.
You.
Yeah.
At some point, you're gonna get a lot of emails.
To be fair, it'll get lost in his 35,000 other emails.
Yeah. Like I give a shit on this.
That gives me fucking high blood pressure,
On this
dude.
account, like I
You should
give a
see
shit.
mine.
Is it also just horrible like that?
12,000.
His is worse than mine, I'm pretty sure. But this is just an account I have. Just you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
I don't worry about it.
I don't either.
Email address you use for your
About 126,000.
Pornhub account.
No.
Yeah.
That
I don't
is
use
so-
any email
You've been
addresses.
stacking that for 10 years?
yeah.
With a Pornhub
Jesus.
account.
No,
care
they
about
don't
my
need my
email.
personal
No,
information,
no.
dude. No.
I go on a private tab always. I can handle not seeing the same video ever again. I'll be okay. I'll survive. I don't need to save
Right?
it.
It's funny to think that
fine.
there are people out there that just have like a whole folder of like their favorite porn videos just
That's wild to me.
shamelessly
That's
in their
wild to me.
fucking browser, dude.
That's wild to me. But
I mean,
each
not
their
to
own.
like shame people,
No.
yeah, but like
yeah,
it's
I just don't
like,
understand.
yeah, exactly. It's just like that would never be me.
I mean,
This
it's
is me,
really
though.
hard to find like bestiality porn. That's why I save all
That
those
makes
ones.
sense. That makes sense.
But-
Yeah, they are pretty rare.
Yeah.
Especially ones that
Just
aren't
for those
AI
ones.
now. You know?
I think we do have that sound. I don't know where it is, though.
I had a feeling you were into
Here we
weird
go.
shit.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh my god, it's
This
so
thing's
loud.
Sick.
Sorry, guys. Let me adjust
My
this.
ears.
A couple of these. Jesus.
God, dude, is this a -3 LUFs fucking TikTok?
Every TikTok is.
Yeah, they're always
They
loud.
fucking goose their shit for sure.
Right.
So if you know, you know. It's a fucking mouse, dude.
That's fucking sick, actually.
It's so sick, dude.
I love it and hate it at the
Imagine
same
gaming.
time.
Yeah, imagine
I
gaming on
know.
it.
I love it and hate it at the same time. Like, that's brutal.
I'm a claw.
It is fun though.
That's a
Fucking
That's a
Rob-
sexy mouse right there.
Rob Scallon just put out a video where him and this guy who builds pedals for a living build a pedal from scratch.
Oh, yeah, I think I
Fucking
saw
tight,
that. I think I
dude.
saw that.
Yeah, it's
I haven't
fun.
watched it yet, but I saw it on my algorithm.
It's really cool. Because when
Shout out
I
Rob
was
Scallion.
using Bitwig, I was thinking of like ways that I could recreate like my favorite guitar pedals, and like I was thinking about like the circuits and the fucking routing and all the stuff that kind of goes into making distortion
yeah.
pedals. But I never saw it through.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do is make a digital version of the
I'm
Digitech
surprised based
death
on the
metal
shit
pedal.
that you've
dude.
been talking about. I'm surprised you didn't see it there because you've been working some fucking devil's magic up in there in Ableton.
Sorcery, dude.
Devil's magic.
I traded my crown chakra to Satan for these abilities, so I hope it's worth it.
All right.
Traded my crown chakra.
Do you notice the
Let's
difference?
go.
All right, this one is also relative bullshit, but it's fascinating for audio nerds.
This is
Relative
a camera
bullshit.
that can see sound.
What is
in
that?
other words, it can show you where in a scene sounds are coming from.
Oh, hell
One
the
really
fuck.
noisy
What?
appliance is a vacuum cleaner. It just seems like a cacophony of sound. But look at this spectrogram, which is like a heat map of the different frequencies that the vacuum cleaner is producing. You can see that there are a handful of really strong frequencies. With the acoustic camera software, you can isolate different frequencies. So look, this frequency here we now can see is from the tube of the vacuum cleaner. So we now know that the tube of the vacuum cleaner resonates.
The tube of the Hoover, if you want.
And we can see that the motor of the vacuum cleaner produces a frequency of 7,000 hertz. And all this is really useful information if you're trying to engineer a quieter appliance. Another cool trick is once you have the recording, you can use something akin to the eyedropper tool in Photoshop to point at different parts of the recording and see what just that part sounds
Are
like.
you kidding
How cool is
me?
that?
There's no way
This
it's
is
that
so
accurate.
cool.
That's insane.
I want it,
Imagine
and we'll,
with like
look at the fish tank.
But then you have a rolling. sampler
with,
running
like,
the whole time, so you're just recording all of this stuff that you're making, and
It's
all
like
these little-
augmented reality glasses, like the Meta Ray Bans or whatever, and you could just overlay fucking. Dude, that'd be nuts.
Yeah.
If we had money,
That would be crazy.
you know, like we would be having that shit, and we'd be showing you guys and giving you all the sounds.
Yep.
We have another
So, join
camera
our
dedicated
Patreon.
to just visualizing the sound
Right,
of our
out of
room.
each-
And
yeah.
like switch to the
Right,
sound
right.
cam.
That'd be so much fun, dude.
Here's the
That'd be
sound. Here's
crazy.
the sound video of the entire podcast.
Yeah. Overlaid.
Each week, a
Every
full-
time we talk, it just like heat maps a little bit.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah,
is
yeah.
quiet. Yeah.
Just POV, you are a bat.
Right, exactly. POV Lost Boys.
That was a good one. I
That would
like
be
that one.
epic.
All right, this one is more.
God, I would love that.
This one has an actual tip. There's a couple of these that most
Mine-
people know, but there's a couple up front that I didn't know. That I was like, sick.
Stringy hair,
Ableton
huh?
users, I
Clumpy,
have a
stringy.
confession to make. I've been using Ableton for a while, so it's crazy that I just discovered that if you play some notes and then you press the right arrow key on your keyboard, it adds the notes to the grid.
What?
Shut
the
just
fuck up.
discovered that. It makes it so easy to just add a bunch of chords in a row.
Shut the actual
And if
fuck
I
up.
Wow,
the
that's
grid,
insane.
Did you say the
actually.
right arrow
Right
key?
arrow
Yeah,
key.
yeah.
So now I'm in 8
It just
the
adds them
fuck
next to
when?
Hold E. You can just slice up the notes.
If this isn't real, I'm going
Select all
to
of them,
find
go
this
up
kid
here.
Yeah.
and
and drag
We're
them
gonna
to-
beat 'em up.
Still keeps the value between the notes, but you can completely change the space it's in.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that one.
Yeah, I knew that one too.
Definitely spend some time learning your DAW because I can't believe I didn't know that.
Also,
That little
No one knew
literally
that,
crazy.
motherfucker.
he just came
No
out of the
one
shower.
knew that.
He just came out of the shower like, right now.
Yeah,
And
his
he
dick
was-
is fully hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, that he was cranking the hog and he's just all sweaty. Like he's kind of red. He might have been cranking the hog.
But
dude.
now I'm wondering, like,
Oh yeah, does
He put a
Bigwig do
bunch
it?
of stuff in there.
So
Can
that's
I-
a cool move, but I would never actually use that because I never
Really?
actually use my MIDI
No.
piano
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
I use
don't
the
use the MIDI
capture,
either.
like the MIDI capture function in Ableton. Like I don't even record stuff. I just play, and then when I get it right, I hit fucking capture. I actually have a key on my keyboard key mapped to
Oh,
capture.
nice. There you
And
go.
the same thing, I have one key mapped to record too. So, you know, it's just like, boing.
Those
Yeah.
are like nugs right at the end there.
Dude, just constantly
So
dropping
those are some little
nuglets.
things.
Constantly just
Nuglets.
laying
This is
eggs,
Honestly,
dude.
this has been a fucking.
Laying eggs on the
Just
pod.
laying eggs.
This has been an insane podcast. We've gone nice and long, which is awesome.
I was gonna say, y'all should make these longer.
And we've been well,
You know, not like mandatory longer, but like, yeah.
we would
good to
like
know.
to. We
Yeah,
would,
no, there are a lot of times where I'm
We
like, I
would
don't
like
want it to
to.
end, dude. Like, wish it was
Right,
2
yeah.
hours.
But
we,
that's-
we would really like to. It's just like we start 7:30 at night.
it
Good
brings
point.
you back.
Yeah.
We have jobs in the morning, and so do the guests a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
And we're
I mean,
trying to hang
Low-key, the
afterwards.
guests kind of will want to go a little longer a lot of the time. At the,
When we're just in
at
it?
the like
Yeah.
45-minute mark, that's when things start heating up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
like just
you
getting
start
warmed
getting
up.
into the flow.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we've toyed around with the idea of throwing taking a break and then doing a Patreon episode.
We've yet to get there.
Yeah,
I
Oh
feel
yeah, I
like-
was gonna say if you guys want, I could make a fucking sample pack for you guys to throw in the Patreon thing.
Oh shit! Bonus Azrec samples in the
Yeah,
next pack.
I got a shit ton, dude. I have,
Dude,
I've
that would
already
be
made
sick.
like 1,000 samples.
Do you want to do a
this
celebrity
year.
pack?
Yeah,
Celebrity
dude,
pack.
I'm down.
Celebrity
I'm
pack,
down.
dude.
Because that was like one of the first things I thought when you guys started the Patreon. It was like it'd be sick if like the guests fucking
We have brought
made a
it up.
sample pack.
That would
yeah.
be sick.
We
That
have
would make
brought it
things
up.
a lot
Yeah.
easier for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Can we monetize your
So
samples
that's-
that you've put a bunch of
Yeah,
time
That's
into?
the thing where I get a little
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Where it's like, yo,
I know.
give
It's
us
just a weird-
your sauce
it's
so
a
we can
weird-
make
that's
money
fair.
from it.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
weird
yeah.
ask.
To be fair, you can just show them the payroll for that month and be like, "All right, I owe you $5."
We made no money. We'll give you all the money.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That would be fun, though, dude.
Anybody
If
want
you're
this
down.
tobacco?
Oh,
Yes.
I only smoke peyote, dude.
All right.
Sorry.
I do think we're calling it though, hey?
Yes, Azrec, where can people find you on the
yeah,
interwebs?
yeah. Link it up.
Azrec Music at everything. I'm pretty much only on Instagram and Facebook. I don't have Twitter. I don't have like
That-
many social medias. I
No
don't have TikTok.
TikTok?
No, dude.
What?
No, I should probably
No, good for
make
you.
one, but yeah, mostly social media,
Come
just
follow
like
us.
I don't have
on
a TikTok.
Instagram, and it's just Azrec on fucking SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, all that kind of shit. And I'm in a side project with my homie Journey. Shout out Journey.
Oh.
Called Employee of the Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Employee of the month.
Do you guys
Such a
want to
good
know the
name.
story? Do you want to know the story?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Dane
Fucking
Cook.
basically, yeah, the movie. So me and my boy Journey, we were both working at the same weed shop. And that's like where we met. And he had kind of just started producing, and I was like a few years in, and we talked about, that and like shared our, love of electronic music. Gay. And fucking at one point I became a manager, and I was just there for like years, and I
At one
was
point you became a man.
Yeah. I was just so
Sure.
sick of this place, dude, that I didn't give a shit about
Yeah.
anything. I was like kind of hoping I would get fired. So I just started bringing my laptop in, and I would like, because I was the manager, just take him into the office and fucking we'd hang out and make beats
No
for a while.
fucking way.
So yeah, the name Employee of the Month is an homage
Let's go.
to
Let's go.
how we became friends by
That's
being
so
the
good.
best employees
Do you
ever.
feel comfortable naming the company that was for?
Yeah, it was
Starbucks.
Lightshade.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out. That's fair, though. That's fair. I've heard
Oh,
lots
yeah.
of dog shit things about them. So
Terrible.
fair. Shout out
That's
Lightshade.
so funny
Yeah.
though.
Shout out
It's like,
Lampshade.
I'm
Man.
getting paid to make beats right now, dude.
I got some of that fucking
Hourly
Cheech
wage
and
and
Chong
healthcare, dude,
pre-rolls
and
from
health
there,
insurance.
though.
Unheard of.
Yeah, but that's not up to
I know,
Lightshade.
I
how
know
good
it's not
those are.
Lightshade's product, but Cheech and Chong
No, what's up?
pre-rolls were fucking
They go hard.
sick. They were so... The vibe was unreal.
Immaculate.
It was insane. It was like, oh, this just makes me feel good. It's like none of the bad things. It was
Good,
insane.
good.
Anyway,
Do you remember what strain it was?
no, probably.
Should have
Man,
remembered, dude.
No, look at
I'm
this
not
guy.
worried about it. I don't see them very often,
Yeah.
those joints.
Yeah,
Blue
I
Dream.
haven't seen those in years.
Yeah,
dude.
they might not even exist anymore.
Yeah, they probably don't.
Shout out to everybody.
One year
Shout
for
out Cheech and Chong.
Christmas. Shout out Cheech and Chong.
1 year.
My
for
dad is a
Christmas.
stocking stuffer.
My
Got me
dad's
the Grizz
got
rolling
a
papers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I only smoked one with it,
Did
but
they
and then I
taste
was like,
butthole?
I don't remember. I feel like they were just. Oh, is that a gay joke?
I think that was a good joke.
Okay,
Nice.
nice.
It's a gay joke.
Yeah. Nice.
Sorry, not
What,
sorry.
Sorry,
straight-
Grizz.
Straight dudes
Grizz.
don't eat
Would love to have you
butthole,
on
dude?
the podcast.
Yeah, that's
Allegedly, they don't.
good. I still have the papers though.
Well, as a
Really?
butthole eating
Oh.
straight
I wonder if they're
dude,
still
I'm here to tell
not
you.
dry. Yeah,
They're
probably
like
not.
6 years old.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Probably older, honestly.
Yeah, they're probably just dust.
Yeah.
You could probably feed the fish with them. There's just some fish flakes. The flavor of butthole. Just kidding, Grant, we
Stop
love you.
it.
Grant, we love
Hey,
you.
we're
Come
just
on the pod.
joshing.
Come on
We're
the pod,
joshing.
Grant. Come on.
Fuck.
All right. Well, thank you, Azrec.
Yeah, no, thank you
Fucking
guys for having me,
216,
dude. It's
folks.
been
This was
great.
fun, man. You were a great vibe. You were
Thank
just
you.
good energy, good
Dream come
insights the
true.
whole time.
Like and
I play off the
subscribe.
vibes of those around me.
Yeah,
go,
like
man.
and sub,
Hey, yo.
folks.
Go check out his new album.
Yes,
Do it.
Blunderbuss everywhere.
Blunderbuss.
Azrec.
Blunderbuss.
Boombaclot, folks.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the flip
Bye,
flop.
everybody.
Man.